Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we can have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings as we have got yellow and amber warnings issued for rain across western and northern Scotland, as we've seen a lot of rainfall over the past 24 hours and we've still got a good few hours left of that. We'll be able to have a look at that in detail in the latest UKV, which now does run out all the way to the end of this upcoming working week, and you'll be able to see that it does start pretty dry and pretty above average, at least tomorrow. Heavy rain moves in on Tuesday and then starts to turn colder as we head towards the end of the week, perhaps even seeing some wintry showers in the north. But most of you are here to hear about what could be happening in the lead up to Christmas and over the Christmas period. And unfortunately, the uncertainty has remained today, if not even got even worse than we had yesterday. Now, we thought from looking at yesterday evening's models that it was trending towards more of a colder sort of spell leading up towards Christmas, over Christmas, or at least some sort of colder snap. But this morning's runs and leading into this afternoon's runs at this stage look like they've gone 50-50 again, with plenty of mild runs, but also plenty of cold runs. So yeah, beyond the next sort of 5 days, I'm not going to lie, we don't really have much of a concrete idea of what is going to be happening. There is a whole array of solutions, as I said, and we'll check those out in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, which do like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see the rain moving into the north and the west at the moment, and it is slowly sinking southwards. Should lose its intensity as it does, and will just be a spell of lighter rain and thicker cloud for many through this evening overnight, but still has got a few hours of heavy rain across northern and western Scotland, where we have got, as I said, an amber warning issued. Temperatures today are actually well above average, with that southwesterly wind coming in, actually warmest closer to that rain, as that is where a lot of the warmer, more humid mid-Atlantic areas, cooler further south and eastwards, but still above average. But as I said, over the coming days it should trend back towards average, maybe even below average by the end of the week, with the risk of some winteriness coming in. Now, if you put on the past 24 hours in terms of precipitation, you can see how it's been exceptionally dry through most of England, Wales, Republic of Ireland, but parts of Northern Ireland and Western Scotland have been really quite battered by heavy rain. Here, where we've got the amber warning issued, some of these areas have seen 60, 80, 100 millimetres just in the past 24 hours, and seen more prior to that, and will likely see more in the coming hours. So could see, as I said, 100, 150, maybe even 200 millimetres come the end of this event, and they, as I said, could be still quite significant flooding, not only immediate flooding with lots of surface water, but could actually see some river flooding as well over the coming days. Now, if you look at the latest weather warnings, you can see we have got an amber warning issued at the moment. Again, it has just been updated, and you can see the warning end time has been brought forward, so it actually expires in a couple hours' time. So fortunately, the rain has been sinking southwards a little bit quicker than initially anticipated. So good news, this is expiring imminently in the next couple of hours, but we have got a wind warning issued until 6 p.m. today as well. Again, we could see some gusty winds across northeastern parts. Again, this was issued this morning, so this is actually the first time we're having a look at this. But no warnings issued at this stage in the lead up to Christmas, but I suspect there could be warnings issued. Maybe snow, maybe ice, maybe even more rain and wind warnings issued, as we could see a whole array of conditions in the next week. Now, if you look at the latest UKV, you can see the rain moving in from the west at the moment, slowly sinking southwards but losing its intensity overnight tonight, just to an area of patchy rain and thicker cloud into tomorrow morning. It could dominate much of the day across Wales and western England, lots of thick cloud and drizzly rain, but elsewhere it shouldn't be too bad. Fresher air starts to come in from the northeast, but then we see a big area of low pressure arrive for the south, with some exceptionally heavy rain through much of Tuesday. It's going to be a washout for many through Tuesday. Pretty horrible conditions indeed through most of the day, before it should clear by the latter part of the afternoon into the early evening. And then we open the door to a northwesterly wind, initially relatively mild, but then colder air starts to feed in. You can see lots of showers coming in with that, and some of those showers turning to quite wintry as we progress through Thursday into Friday. Lots of snow perhaps for the Highlands of Scotland, and even snow towards parts of northern England and Wales perhaps towards the end of the week into towards Friday. So actually do see some quite cold air move in. But I would be pretty sceptical of this because some runs, even at day 5, are not even showing this colder air moving in, just highlighting the uncertainty that there is in only a few days' time. So if the models can't get or can't agree with what sort of air mass we're going to see on Friday, they've got no hope in agreeing what we can see for Christmas Day, which is in 8 days' time. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you'll be able to see it does trend much lower through this week. Today, 9 to maybe 12 degrees, so well above average for most. Into tomorrow still should be pretty far above average, 12 or 13 degrees, the top temperature. But as we progress into Tuesday, it should cool down. Scotland closer towards freezing, and by Tuesday afternoon, even southern and eastern areas back into mid to high single digits. Still probably above average, but trending closer to average. As we progress into Wednesday, not too cold overnight, and then another milder sector moves in, so we could actually see temperatures again touch double digits. But into Thursday, cooling down quite widely, and as said, as we head into Friday, we're likely to see mid-single digits again. You can see lots of cold air moving into Scotland and northern England there, but we actually don't know if that cold air is going to move in at all, as we'll see from some of these longer range runs in a minute. Not even those can agree on the air mass come Thursday, Friday time. But definitely a cooling trend through this week. Could actually turn very cold towards the end of the week, back down towards freezing overnight, and perhaps even in the day for northern areas. But at this stage, we haven't got, as I said, a huge agreement on those upper air temperatures. So do have a look at the longer range. Again, the GFS has been showing lots of colder spells over the last couple of days, but today it's kind of in between. Shows some cold air masses moving in, but nothing exceptional. Now, if we do run through, you can see westerly winds over the coming days, but tilting more to a northwesterly by the end of this week, and that's why we think a cold air mass will be moving in. But just to the point where we thought a straight northerly could move in, the GFS here cuts that off and goes for a more flat westerly into Christmas Day. This would accompany heavy rain and pretty horrible conditions coming in from the west. And that pattern could continue through towards the end of the year. Blocking does start to appear further northwards, so it could push the jet stream southwards here, develop a really stormy area of low pressure, but equally could aid development of colder patterns, perhaps even northerly winds here towards the end of the run. But if we go back to the end of this week, remember what we saw on the UKV come Friday. Look at this, the almost a 5-degree isotherms into the southwest. The UKV had the -8 degree isotherm into parts of northern England, so that doesn't sound like a massive difference. As you can see, the -5 is just to our north, but it does make a huge difference at the surface, and those sort of subtle differences in positioning of air masses could make all the difference to the temperature and the type of precipitation later this week. Here, most of the showers and rainfall, most of the showers and precipitation would be falling as rain, whereas on the UKV, a lot of that precipitation would be falling as a wintry flavour. So again, massive uncertainty even come Thursday, Friday, and even more uncertainty towards the Christmas period. You can see here in Christmas Eve, we do see colder air come through for a time, and this is where we thought a colder spell could start, or at least a colder snap for a few days over Christmas, but into Christmas Day could start as frosty feel before big southwesterly push comes in with heavy rain likely through Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Now, if you compare to the GM, again, a westerly wind continues to come in, a northwesterly wind potentially arriving by the end of this week, maybe even northerly winds as we head into Saturday. But look at this, the Euro high powers through, and we see a pretty flat westerly all the way to the end of this run. Yes, there could be colder incursions at times, but not really showing anything too major. And look at Friday, has a huge area of well above average upper air temperatures, whereas the UKV had a huge area of below upper air average temperatures. I keep referring to Friday just because it shows the huge discrepancy we have within the models, even at sort of a 4 or 5 day lead time, which is generally pretty unusual. It's not completely out of this world, but it is unusual that at day 5 the models are in massive disagreements over the air mass, like a 10 plus degree disagreement in the upper air temperatures. So yeah, it is really causing some headaches, and it basically means we can't really give a concrete answer for what's going to be happening as we head towards Christmas at this stage. And if we compare finally to the ECMWF, again a westerly flow coming in over the coming days, northwesterly tilt arrives at the end of the week, actually quite a potent northerly wind for once in the last few days. The ECMWF perhaps is the coldest run here as we head into next weekend, but it does flatten off that pattern through the Christmas period and actually goes fairly westerly and tries to even build higher pressure in the south. You can see, as I said, through Friday it does bring in a pretty fresh air mass there for a time, but into Christmas Eve it does bring a big wedge of milder air in. Now, from the looks of this, you'd think definitely the models have backed off from colder weather, and perhaps they have to a certain extent, but there's no way they're in agreement that we're going to see milder weather either. If we look at the state of the latest GFS ensembles, you can see they are all over the place from around Friday. You can see as we get towards sort of Friday time, the 22nd, 23rd, you can see that they're in brief agreement, but then it goes completely off the rails on the 23rd, 24th. Some runs going very cold, some runs going mild, some runs in between, and that's kind of how it stays all the way till early January. No consistency at all, and it basically means that I unfortunately can't give any sort of definitive answer. I did hope a few days ago that we'd have bit more of a concrete idea this weekend, but unfortunately this is just how it's gone. It does not look like we have an answer at this stage. I do suspect at some point in the next couple of days the models will all suddenly converge on one scenario, and that will be what happens. But at this stage, as I'm recording this video, we have not got those models agreeing yet. Toomey's temperatures are all over the place as well. Some runs into Christmas Day are only at 2 or 3 degrees. Other runs are at 11 or 12. And you can see the ensemble mean is around the sort of 8 or 9 degree mark in between. Trending cooler in the longer term as we still got lots of spread. The same is for the dew points. Some dew points on Christmas Day down to -5. That would be freezing cold Arctic air. Others are at +10, which is mid-Atlantic, almost tropical air moving in. So again, huge discrepancy. And I could say, you could say it's definitely backed off, because if you go to the 6 o'clock run from last night, look at that, a massive trend towards Christmas Eve and Christmas Day there for below average temperatures. And we thought all these are the models definitely starting to agree now, but you can see in the space of 12 hours, it's gone back to massive uncertainty, and it's going to continue flip-flopping over the coming hours, and hopefully the coming days it should resolve itself. Now finally, if we look at the ECMWF ensembles, it doesn't show a lot of agreement either. A bit more of a trend here actually on the 22nd, 23rd for a colder pattern, which the GFS wasn't really hinting at too much at all, and then it goes really mild for Christmas Day. So ECMWF not only still has loads of spread, but has almost a completely different idea for the days leading up towards Christmas. Definitely like showing more of a colder snap towards the 22nd, 23rd with frosts, maybe even wintry showers, and then a much milder spell over actual Christmas Day, maybe into Boxing Day. But regardless, huge spread on both ensemble members from around sort of Thursday, Friday onwards. And it essentially means we have not got a definitive answer. So if you do want to know what's going to happen over Christmas, I can say at this stage, it's unlikely to be a crazy cold spell. It's unlikely to be incredibly mild, like 15 degrees. But anywhere in between is very possible. We could see snow. We could even see heavy snow in northern areas. We could even see wintry showers. We could see widespread frost. But we could also see pretty stormy, wet and windy conditions. All these sort of outcomes are still on the table. We're unable to narrow it down at this stage because of the massive uncertainty. As I said, hopefully we should have an answer in the next day, maybe hopefully next couple of days, and I'll make sure to bring that to you when the models do start to converge on a scenario. But it's pretty typical, the one time of year where we've got a lot of interest on what is going to happen, whether it's going to be a white Christmas, whether we're going to see stormy conditions, people got to travel. The models are all over the place. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we've got a bit more of a definitive answer in tomorrow's video. But I'll see you again for another video soon.